it's Amber Lee Forrester, and we're back for another episode of Masters and Mentors. And today I have Mr. Garvin Forrester. Notice the similarity in the last name. Yes, this is my husband, and he is an aerospace engineer, a serial entrepreneur, and pretty fascinating. So I wanted to take some time to talk to him about his journey today. So this is a special edition. Welcome, Garvin.
Thank you.
So Masters and Mentors, a lot of the reason that we do this is for the youth. So if there's a young adult who's listening and they are inspired by your story, what advice do you have for them to prepare to go to school for such a challenging major like aerospace engineering?
I mean, I'm sure you hear this all the time, but fundamentals. If you know your fundamentals in mathematics and physics, you shouldn't have a problem because you can use those fundamentals to build. They're almost like building blocks for the other problems. So if you're a good math-based student, a good science-based student, and you're firm in your fundamentals, you can understand how the other blocks pile on top of each other. So actually my first internship, which my dad told me, just do, he's like, tell them you'll work for free. Like he literally told me work for free. And I went there and told them, look, I'm willing to work for free. And they're like, no, we're not going to not pay you. But they were so enamored that I came to them like that way that I was making like an engineering salary. And I ended up working for a company called Cobite Bill, and I'll never forget this. So they did the billing. You remember when we had actual land phones? They did the billing report for AT&T, like how many minutes you spent on each call. And they were developing the first e-commerce system, the first database system to like, so you could put clothing and everything else. I was able to actually program a lot of that stuff way before we even knew e-commerce was going to be a thing.
This is one of the fascinating things about engineering. Many of these fields that have details that people dig into and do for a living that are so minute that you would never think that like companies get paid millions of dollars to do that.
Yeah.
So that's pretty fascinating. So you worked for free.
Yeah, I mean, they ended up paying me.
They ended up paying
a good,
right.
a good salary.
So
Yeah.
you work, you got your salary.
Yeah.
So this is in school. So let's fast forward to after your graduation. In your opinion, what is the state of the aerospace industry today? And what advice would you have for someone who may still be seeking to become a part of it, who may still want to be an aerospace engineer now in 2022, going on 2023?
Yeah, so aircraft manufacturing is probably one of the most interesting product lines. It's very integrated. It's literally from nuts to bolts. There's a process in the entire design, and you always come up with new aircraft because there's always new technology. And then the military side of it is very interesting because the government is always funding, military applications. So aerospace is probably one of the most resilient markets you can get into.
People always got to fly. They got to move around somewhere.
Yeah. So there may be downturns, but there's always airlines. There's always people going somewhere. There's unfortunately always a military application.
Yeah.
So
that continues.
Yeah.
But now you have pivoted into this new space, which started with a pivot into traffic safety and wireless vehicles. I'm sorry.
No, you're right. Like autonomous
vehicles. And then you went beyond that and started to venture into other industries. And you have found yourself in this circle of people in the music industry and sports and entertainment industries. And you have become a very valuable asset for them. How did that happen? What were your transferable skills that you took from your previous career into this new space that you're in?
So I think that's the serial entrepreneur part of me.
He's excited.
I get to talk about that. So I believe in the generality of business. I believe that you can apply the same skill sets no matter if it's a business you've never thought of before, never seen before, or something that you're really familiar with. There's some core principles on the projection of where a business is going. And then there's a core principle of some of the pitfalls and hardships that you would see forming a business.
Now, I'm not going to let you mansplain. Give me some of those core principles.
Um, Along the path of any new business, there's funding challenges, um, especially for small businesses, especially for minority businesses. It's hard to get that initial funding. And unless your friends and family are well-to-do, you're going to stumble along the way. It's key, and this is probably one of my biggest bits of advice for anybody, even if you're go starting your own business. Get a team of other serial entrepreneurs that have already had successful businesses and make them your advisors because they will help you overcome those challenges.
I think that's really great advice. Don't just start from scratch, which is a part of the reason why business coaching has become more popular. You get people who are experts who can consult and help you to not make some of the same mistakes that they made along the way.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
but advisory board, another way of doing this, getting them on your team in one way or the other,
Right.
so that you can access their wisdom and not make the same
Exactly,
mistakes.
exactly.
Yeah.
Get them from your community, get them from your friend circle, get them from, your dad's close friend has a business. And that's kind of how I pivoted into these other sectors, into entertainment and back into sports. Ultimately, people came to me to ask, how can you help me with my business?
Yeah.
And
And
then
your answer was?
yeah, I love to. One of my passions is to help small businesses grow, and in particular, I've got a passion to help Black wealth. But along that way, I realized that I can't help anyone until I've got myself established.
Yeah.
So my path has been getting myself established so I can go help other companies. And I found that going in and helping other people start their businesses or help them along their businesses is giving me more access. So one day I can, help other people.
For sure.
Yeah,
For
and
sure. I know you're passionate about that.
yeah.
I love it. It's not rocket science, or maybe it is. Thank you, Garvin, for sitting down and talking with us. I think it's fascinating to hear your story, and not just the story of an aerospace engineer, but the story of an aerospace engineer who didn't lock himself into a box, no matter how fancy or admired that box was, and that you've continued to allow yourself to evolve, and you're in a new space now that seems very fitting for you, even though it's not somewhere that you expect it to be.
Yeah,
So I hope
very
that your
true.
story has inspired people. I hope that you guys enjoyed listening out for it. If you want to check out his companies, Calmar
Calmar
Holdings,
Research, yeah. And Calmar
calmarresearch.com.
Holdings, yeah.
Yeah.
And iconeproducts.com.
And he's no IGG, so you will not find him there, but you can find him on LinkedIn.
Yes.
Thank you guys for watching another episode of Masters and Mentors. We hope to continue to inspire you and expose you to different professions and careers so that you know that you are not limited. The sky is the only limit that we have. And that's not even it, especially when you're an aerospace engineer. All right, guys, have a great one. Thanks so much.